Hey guys, hi, hello, you're gonna watch chapter 2, The 12 Riches of Life of the Master Key to Riches. And here you go with the content. It was time for a break as audience rose from their seats and the camera crew began to pack up. They had all needed to include a short piece in the evening broadcast and didn't think there would be much more to report. A few people decided to hear for the door, but many returned to their seat, intrigued and eager to hear what this mesmerizing man would say next. During the break, the speaker left the stage. When he returned, he had in hand a chart of paper and list of items. Several audience members grabbed their pens and began copying the list. While the audience member hurriedly scribbled, the man began to speak once more. As I mentioned before the break, he began, perhaps the greatest of all riches that each of the possesses in a positive mental attitude. All riches of whatever nature begin as a state of mind, and let us remember that state of mind is the one and only thing over which any person has complete unchallenged right of control. It is highly insignificant or significant that none of us has control over anything except the power of shape our own thoughts and the privilege of fitting them into any pattern of our choice. Mental attitude is important because it converts the brain into equivalent of electromagnet which attracts the competent or the counterpart of one's dominating thoughts, aims, and purposes. It also attracts the counterpart of one's fear, worried, and doubts too. So, the first of the 12 riches of life is a positive mental attitude. A positive mental attitude is the starting point of all riches, whether they be rich of a material nature or intangible riches. It attracts the riches of true friendship and riches of one's finds the hope of future achievement. It provides the riches one may find in nature handiwork, and as it exists in the moonlight nights and it starts to float out there in the heavens and beautiful landscapes and the distant horizons. It attracts the riches to be found in the labor of one's choice, where expression may be given to the highest plan of man's soul. So it draws the riches of harmony in home relationships and where all the members of the family work together in the spirit of friendly cooperation. It creates the riches of freedom from fear and riches of enthusiasm, both active and passive. It inspires the riches of songs and laughter, and both of which indicate states of mind, and the riches of self discipline, through which one may have the joy of knowing the mind can and will serve the desire in if one will take possession and command it through definiteness of purposes. It elicits the riches of play, and through which one may lay aside all the branches or burden of life and become a little child again. All in the riches of discovery of one's other self, that self which knows no such reality as permanent failure. It develops the riches of faith in the universe of which every individual mind in a minute projection, and the riches of meditation, the connecting link by which anyone may draw upon the great universal supply of infinite intelligence at will. And all other riches begin with a positive mental attitude. Therefore, it is but a little cause for wonder that a positive mental attitude takes the first place in the list of 12 riches. He then describes the next 11 riches, which are included here in their abbreviation form. So, number 2 out of 12 riches of life is sound physical health. Sound physical health begins with a health consciousness produced by a mind which thinks in terms of health and not in terms of illness. It requires temperance of eating and commitment to physical activities. So, number 3 of 12 riches of life is harmony in human relationship. Harmony with other beings, with oneself, as Shakespeare said. There are benefits to following these rules. To thin O, self be truth, and it must follow as the night the day. Thou canst not then be false to any man. So, number 4 out of 12 riches are freedom from fear. No one who fear anything is free. Fear is harbinger of evil, and wherever it appears, one may find a course which might be eliminated before one may become rich in the fullest sense. The 7 basic fear which appear most often in our minds are the fear of poverty, the fear of criticism, the fear of ill health, the fear of loss of love, the fear of loss of liberty, the fear of old age, and the fear of death. So, number 5 out of 12 riches of life is the hope of achievement. The greatest of all forms of happiness comes as the result of hope of achievement of some yet unattained desire. And the person who cannot look to the future with hope of becoming the person he or she would like to be, or with the belief of attaining the objective he or she has failed to reach the past is poor beyond description. So, sixth one out of 12 riches of life is the capacity of faith. Faith is the connecting link between the conscious mind and the great universe. It is the fertile soil of the garden of the human mind, wherein may be produced all the riches of life. It is eternal elixir and which gives creative power and the action to the impulses of thought. And faith is the basis of all so called miracles and many mysteries which cannot be explained by the rules of logic or science. It is the spiritual chemical which, when it is mixed with the prayers, gives one's direct and immediate connecting with one's God. Faith is the power which transmits the ordinary energy the thought into the spiritual equivalent. Willingness to share one's blessing is 7 out of the 12 riches of life. Those who haven't learned to share have not learned the true path of happiness. For happiness comes only by sharing. All riches may be embellished and multiplied by the simple process of sharing them where they may serve others. And the space one occupies the hearts of others is determined precisely by the serves and rendered throughout some forms of sharing one's blessing. Riches which are not shared, whether they be material riches or the intangible, wither and die like the rose on the stem, or for the which one nature first love, and the incarnation and disuse the lead to decay and death. And this law applies to material possession just it as applied to the living cells of every physical body. So, 8 out of the 12 riches of life is a labor of love. No one is rich than the person who has found a labor of love and who is busily engaged in performing it. Labor is the highest form of human expression of desire. It is the liaison between the demand and the supply of all human needs and the furniture of the human process. So, and the medium by all which imaginations is giving the wings of action, all labors of love and sanctified because they bring the joy of self expression. So, 9 out of 12 riches of life is an open mind on all subjects. Tolerance, which is among the most highest attributes of culture, is expressed only by the person who holds an open mind on all subjects of all time, and it is the only person with an open mind who became truly educated and who is thus prepared to receive the greater riches of life. So 10 out of 12 riches of life is self-discipline. The person who does not master self-discipline may never become the master of anything else. Those who master themselves may become the master of their own earthly destiny. The highest form of self-discipline consists in the expression of humility of heart when one has attained great riches or has been overtaken by that which is commonly called success. And 11 out of 12 riches of life, the capacity to understand people. Those who are rich in the understanding of people always recognize that all people are fundamentally alike and they have evolved from the same origin, and all human activities are inspired by one or more than 9 basic motives of life, including. So, number 1, emotion of love. Number 2, the desire of sex. Number 3, the desire of material gain. Number 4, the desire of self presentation. Number 5, the desire of freedom of body and mind. Number 6, the desire of self expression. Number 7, the desire of perpetuation of life after death. Number 8, the emotion of anger. And number 9, the emotion of fear. Those who understand the motives of others must first understand the motive of themselves. The capacity to understand the others eliminates many of the common cause of friction among people. It is the foundation of all friendship. It is the basic of all harmony and cooperation. It is fundamentally important in all leadership which calls the friendly cooperation. And number 12, last but not the least, economic security of the 12 riches of life is the last, though not least important of 12 riches is economic security. So, economic security is not attained by the possession of money alone, it is attained by the service one renders. For useful service may be converted into all forms of human needs with or without the use of money. Bill Gates has economic security not because he controls a vast fortune of money, but for the better reason that he provides profitable employment for billions of men and women, and also a mean of distribution, information, and still greater number of people. The service he renders has attracted the money he controls, and that is how all enduring economic security must be attained. I will introduce to you the principles of which money and all other forms of riches may be obtained. But first, you must be prepared to apply these principles. Your mind must be conditioned for the acceptance of riches, just as the soil of earth must be prepared for the planting of seeds. Maybe you have heard the expression when student is ready and the teacher will appear. Does not mean that the things one may need to will appear without a cause. For there is a vast difference between one's needs and one's readiness to reserve. To miss this distinction, to miss this major benefits which I shall try to convey. So nextly we are going to see the challenge of embracing new ideas. This may seem strange to you at first, but you should not become discouraged, for all new ideas seem strange. If you doubt that this approach is practical, take courage from the fact that it was brought me richness in abundance. Human progress always has to be slow because people are reluctant to accept new ideas. On the fateful day when Ray Kroc saw the success of McDonald's brother, Hamburg stands in San Bernardino, California, decided then and there to form a fast food franchise with a standardized operation procedure. Few would predict that the middle-aged milkshake salesman would create a global empire. When Joseph Wilson, then president of Haloid Corporations, attempted to introduce the corporate world in 1914, copying machines no one was interested. At the company, its management team preserved, and today, the renamed Xerox Corporation is worth billions of dollars. John S. Johnson, founder of Ebony magazine, was advised to bother when he attempted to create a version of Reader's Digest geared to African Americans. Years later, his magazine empire was named to top black-owned corporation by Black Enterprises magazine. I mention these achievements as a remember that those who choose a different path must be prepared to face and overcome the challenges that stand in their way. If you follow along, appropriate this philosophy and be confident in its results, then it will work for you as it has worked for me. By serving as your guide, I shall receive my compensation for my efforts in exact proportion to the benefits of your reserve. And the external law of compensation ensures this. My compensation may not become directly from you, but it will come in one form not useful for services shall be rendered by anyone without a just compensation. Do the thing, said the Emerson, and you shall have the power. Aside from the consideration of what I shall reserve for my attempts to serve you, there is a question of an obligation which I owe the world in return for the blessing has its bestowed upon me. I did not acquire my riches without the aid of many others. I have observed that all who acquire enduring riches have ascended the ladder of opulence with two outstretched hands, one extended upward to receive the hands of others who have reached the peak, and other extended downward to aid those who are still climbing. So let the admonish you who are on the path of riches that you too must proceed with outstretched hands to give and receive aid. So it is well known fact that no one may attain enduring success or acquire enduring riches without aiding others who have seeking the desirable ends. To get one must first give. I am delivering this message to you today so that I may give. The next step which you must take in the process of conditioning your mind to receive riches is the learn 9 practices of receiving life's reward. They serve me when I am awake and serve me while I sleep. They have protected me against fear, envy, greed, doubt, and indecision and procrastination. They have inspired me to move on my own personal initiative, have kept my imagination active, and have given me definiteness of purpose and the faith to ensure its fulfillment. They have been the real conditioners of the mind and builders of my positive mental altitude. It is time for lunch, but when you return, I would like to share them you so that they may provide you with the same rewards. Thus end 12 riches of life, and see you soon in chapter 3, the 9 practices of receiving life's rewards.